Hey, class. Hola, clase. This is Chile. My cultural project is going to be on the dance and music, but I do have a picture here of the Easter Island heads. Just thought that was super interesting. In my research, I found out that Easter Island is off the west coast of Chile in the Pacific Islands, and I've always had a super fascination with the Easter Island heads, and never knew that it was Chile. So that was very interesting to find out. I was initially interested in doing research on Chile because I, in fact, am Chilean. Well, Chileno. My father is straight from Chile, but I actually don't know. Well, I do know him now. But I didn't grow up with him. I was adopted, so adopted by two white parents. So I didn't learn any Spanish growing up. But I did meet him later on. It's very fascinating to see how his sort of countenance matches up with a lot of Chilean attributes, typical Chilean attributes, and same with myself. So that was very interesting to find out. So let's get started here. So this is La Cueca. It is a traditional folk Chilean dance. It has been their national dance since 1979, but it has been in Chilean culture since early 1800s. Before 1979, they just referred to it as La Chilena. It revolves around the idea on a rooster, on mating rituals of a rooster and a chicken. Super interesting that they chose that. It depicts desperate efforts of the male and his attempts to seduce an extremely defensive female by performing enthusiastic, energetic, and possibly sometimes even aggressive dance movements. They kind of circle each other, getting closer to one another. The female will act like she's interested, like she's going to fall for the male, and then she'll, right at the last second before they kiss, she'll dance away, frolic away, and the whole thing will start over again from them being about 20 yards apart. It's a very big dance, very wide dance, even though it's just, sometimes it's just two people. They use a very wide area. That was kind of interesting. That sort of represents the true dating game for females sometimes. Well, in my life anyways. Their costumes are, I wouldn't say sacred, but they do not wear their traditional dress unless they are specifically celebrating a very important event. So their traditional dress is, as you see here, they wear what's called hueso, flannel shirts, flannel poncho, which they call a camanto, which is a reversible poncho, but it's more, it's much more specific. They traditionally make one side dark and one side light. The dark side is used for day, and the light side is used for night. They wear riding boots with spurs, just for dancing purposes. The women wear a pollera skirt made with colorful fabric. They decorate their waist with and then underneath their dress they have various undergarments, and they also have blouses with ruffles, as you can see, ruffles, and then on their chest they usually wear jewelry. And with their dancing, they have much music. Their music is mostly consists of clapping and singing, but they do have Strings and accordions are very, very popular with use, especially in the cueca dance. It's a very rapid rhythm, and they do sometimes have a combination of brass and percussion, but the clapping, guitars, and accordion are most prominent in their classic sort of dancing music. And they have a more modern called the Cueca Brava, and they wear modern clothes, and it's a much more sensual dance than the playful. It's still playful, but it's much more mature. There's no touching whatsoever, but just the body movements. It's a much more intimate dance than the traditional cueca. This is not a traditional dance. This is a modern twist on the Cueca Brava. These are the Machupe people, indigenous to a Chilean island, Chiloé. Now, Chilean culture is highly influenced by Incan influence, since they were conquered by the Incas. But the island of Chiloé was untouched by the Incans. They were not conquered, and so much of their traditions are supposedly said as pure and more indigenous, and more of their origin. And so much of revamped Chilean culture has pulled from the Machupe people. And that's all I've got for this. So thank you very much for listening, and nos vemos.